Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's today's Takes with Alex, and I am your host, Alex. In the heart of spring, when nature itself seems to burst forth with new life, many of us feel a quiet longing, not just for warmer days, but for deeper freedom. Freedom from old patterns, limiting beliefs, fears that hold us back, and the invisible chains we sometimes carry inside. This season brings us Passover, known in Hebrew as Pesach. While it remembers an ancient story of liberation from physical slavery, its deeper spiritual message is profoundly universal. It invites us into a transformative journey, the movement from inner constriction to expansive freedom, from limitation to possibility, and from personal bondage to a shared vision of healing and renewal for all humanity. Let's explore these richer layers together. The inner meaning that continues to speak powerfully to every human heart today. At its surface, Passover recalls a people moving from harsh oppression in ancient Egypt to a new beginning of dignity and self determination. But the mystics and wise teachers across generations have seen something far more profound. Egypt, in this deeper view, represents any place of narrowness. Mitzrayim, in Hebrew, literally means the narrow places. It symbolizes the constricted states of mind where we feel trapped by fear, by other people's expectations, by habits that no longer serve us, or by systems that diminish the human spirit. The Exodus becomes a metaphor for the soul's journey out of these narrow places. The passing over, Pesach, isn't just about skipping judgment. It's about making a leap, a sudden breakthrough, where we bypass gradual steps and step into a higher state of being. This is why the holiday falls in spring. It mirrors the season's theme of rebirth. Just as the earth awakens, we are invited to awaken to our own potential for radical inner change. Passover's deeper wisdom, touches several transformative ideas that resonate with every person. First, inner freedom. True liberation isn't only external circumstances changing, it's a shift in consciousness. We may be physically free, yet still enslaved to worry, resentment, comparison, or the need for approval. The holiday gently asks, what is my personal Egypt today? What inner voice or pattern keeps me small? And am I ready to walk out? Second, the power of the quantum leap. In everyday life, growth often feels slow and step by step. But Passover reminds us that moments of grace exist, times when we can suddenly skip ahead, release old identities overnight, and become a newer, freer version of ourselves. The simple matzah, unleavened bread, symbolizes this humility and haste. No time for ego to rise, just pure, essential movement forward. Third, empathy born from remembrance. Because the story remembers suffering and oppression, it cultivates deep compassion. We are called to see the stranger, the vulnerable, and the one still in chains, whether literal or emotional, and respond with kindness and justice. Freedom brings responsibility. Once we taste liberty, we become part of liberating others. Finally, it points to ongoing redemption. The journey doesn't end at the sea. It continues toward a promised land of purpose, connection, and collective healing. Passover holds space for both personal rebirth and the hope that humanity as a whole can move toward greater harmony, dignity, and light. How can we live these deeper truths in our daily lives? Here are 4 meaningful practices inspired by Passover's spiritual wisdom. Number 1, identify your inner narrow places. Take quiet time to reflect. Where do I feel constricted? What fears or habits am I ready to leave behind? Honest self-inquiry is the first step toward real freedom. Number 2, make your own quantum leap. Choose one area where you've been waiting for perfect conditions. This season, take a bold but humble step forward. Let go, simplify, and trust the process of renewal. Number 3, cultivate empathy and responsibility. Reach out to someone who feels overlooked or burdened. Remember your own moments of struggle and let that fuel acts of genuine compassion and support. Number 4, create space for spiritual spring cleaning. Clear out what no longer serves, old resentments, clutter, or negative thought patterns. Make room for gratitude, connection, and a lighter way of being. These practices turn an ancient holiday into a living path of growth that anyone can walk. It's not about the physical enslavement. It's not about, the outer conditions, the external conditions, although those also exist. But this time is a spiritual time, and like we spoke about in the previous video. This is a time for harnessing the energy of renewal, of freedom, of breaking through that which no longer serves us on a very sincere note, and looking forward to taking the steps necessary to get to a better place, right? No longer being chained down to whatever is not serving us, but saying, there's a God. He made me and he put me on this earth at this particular time in history for a reason. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, right? Because on an individual level, we all have a responsibility to break through our own chains in order to liberate ourselves, so that we can become greater vessels and have a greater effect on the collective. So these practices turn an ancient holiday into a living path of growth that anyone can walk. Ultimately, Passover offers us profound hope. No matter how narrow or dark our current chapter feels, breakthroughs are always possible. Inner freedom is accessible. Collective healing is part of humanity's story. It reminds us that we are not meant to remain in bondage of any kind. With courage, reflection, and a willingness to leap, we can step into greater light for ourselves and for the world around us. In a time when so many still yearn for liberation in different forms, this message feels alive and urgently needed. So, the deeper spiritual journey of Passover is an invitation to move from inner narrowness to expansive freedom, from limitation to renewal, and from personal healing to shared hope. As spring unfolds, may its wisdom encourage you to take your own meaningful steps toward a freer, lighter, and more compassionate life. Compassion for yourself, and ultimately compassion for those around us. What's one inner Egypt you feel ready to leave behind? Or one leap you're inspired to make this season? Share it in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this brought you deeper inspiration and encouragement, especially for this season, whether you're celebrating Passover or Easter or Ramadan or any other holiday, right? This is a universal time for all of us to tap in. So like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for more uplifting explorations and timeless wisdom. Wishing you a season and year and life of profound freedom, blessings, health, prosperity, renewal, and transformative inner light. Take care. Your next step toward wholeness starts with a single courageous choice. Wishing everyone a great rest of your day. Everyone be blessed. I appreciate y'all. Okay? And I'll talk to you soon.